2, 1, going live. We are live. I think we're live. It says we're live. So today we have with us Geshelli Labs and O'Neill's Creation Workshop, who's doing a collaboration together for the casework for their amps and DACs, and now their new full stereo amp, right? And then co-host with the most, Jay.
Good.
And myself, Tyler.
Hello. Hello, internets.
Uh-oh, my buddy. So how are things with everybody? You guys just got done with CAF, Capital Audio Fest. How did that go? It looked pretty amazing in all the photos, and all my friends that went said it was pretty amazing. So
it was a lot bigger than we thought it was going to be. I think this was the biggest year they've had in a long time. Tons of enthusiasm, tons of people. We had 2 rooms, a lot of interest. Yeah. Chris was an absolute, his stuff was like...
He was like the hit.
Yeah, he was the rock star. The hell with Geshelli. Who made those headphone stands? You know, that's what we gave. It was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got to show up.
Ooh.
Yeah, so a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, I saw those at Can Jam, and I was just like, woo. Yeah, I think ZMF were rocking them. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did our big amp. It's probably, I don't know, 17, 18 inches wide by, I don't know, 12 inches deep. And people were just coming in like, I need to see this. I need to see this. And it was a huge hit. I mean, I think it was like, it brought more attention than anything, I think, was the carving. And every single person, I'm like, this is dude. I'm like, go out there, look at a sign, take his card. He carved this. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
Yeah, we had a lot of other vendors coming in asking us about it. They were calling it the topsy-turvy, and like right in front of us discussing how they could do something like that. We're like, looking at each other like,
yeah.
Yay.
Every question was, is this CNC machine? Every single person's like, there are.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All hand,
like,
right?
It's power carved.
Power carved.
But all by hand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of work.
I like doing the big ones. That was way more fun than the small ones. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the scale of it.
A bigger canvas to work with, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. That's way cool. Jay, do you want to kick off the first couple questions?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, first off, like, I'm stoked to be on this live stream with y'all. I'm like a big fan of what y'all do. And I want to really just start off with just kind of, setting the base of getting to know who y'all are. And first of all, like, what got y'all to start Geshelli Labs? Like, what drove you to get here?
It's always the Sherry question. Sherry always gets the first question. That's always your question.
So Gino was making his own audio stuff. It started when he was a kid. He grew up, didn't have a lot of money, couldn't afford good gear. Always talked about, tinkering. He tinkers all the time. It's, we worked together at another company. We'd get home, he'd be making stuff. So he made a DAC for himself. And, he worked on it for months, and I just kind of ignored him. And then one day he's like, I finished it. It's done. And I listened to it and like blew my mind. And I'm like, this is incredible. And then the next thing I say is, we have to sell this. And, he ignored me. And so you made another one, right? And put it on eBay local.
Right.
And we're not too far from Patrick Air Force Base. And an enlisted guy bought it and immediately called us up like 2 days later. And he's like, my friends all want one. And that's kind of what got us started. And, we started to learn that there's a lot of people out there that they want hi-fi, they want good stuff, they can't afford it.
Right.
So us making it ourselves, we were able to sell it, and, it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah. I mean, she's exactly right. Yeah, it started with just that AKM DAC. I was like, I want to make one. I wanted to make one that was like not super expensive. You saw a lot of them out there are just so expensive. And I was like, I just want to make something like no frills. You can, throw it behind your desk, plug it in, and it's just awesome. You know what I mean? I wanted that. Mm-hmm. And honest to God, I had no intentions of starting a business doing this. Like, I was like, really, I don't want to start a business. I mean, we were like arguing, and I'm like, I just want to like go do my 9 to 5 and come home.
Mhm.
And she's the business person, like, you know, hands down. So I'm the tech, and she's like all the business. So you know, but you took it from like 0 to hero. So I can give you all the credit. I just solder.
We started off with full plexi. We had a laser cutter,
Mhm.
and we made full plexi cases, and then that evolved into aluminum, and now I'm powder coating everything, and you know, the
now
wood
it's
cases.
madness.
And then we thankfully Chris hooked up with us, and now we're on a whole different level. With,
that guy took us
with
to
his
like
art.
yes.
I think I can. Oh, hey Jay, I think we lost you.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
All good.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna just kind of ask, like, what pushed y'all to, you know, you didn't want to do your 9 to 5. What was like really the spark to say, like, you know what, let's jump in and do this, like, to kind of go away from your natural intuition of like, I just want a 9 to 5, stress free, yada yada.
That was you. And
I guess at a certain point,
he like years. It took him years to get me to quit my job. I am very conservative. I like my health insurance. I like my guaranteed paycheck. So that was. Go ahead.
I think like at a certain point. So with us, like, we were doing it. You know, we had our jobs. You know, and we were doing this, and then this just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, every month, it was just like the curve. You know what I mean? It was just selling more, and we found ourselves like, you know, getting off of work and then having to work till like midnight. Just building stuff, and orders were starting to get like crazier and crazier. So eventually it just became a thing. Yeah, I was probably the initial catalyst of like, all right, you know, if we're gonna like take this incredibly seriously, or like, you know, at least, you know, get finance people who can like, you know, count the pennies and do all the things, like, you know, get like the people to help and everything, in general. You know, even recruiting the kids to come work, and, you know, our 2 kids, you know, now work for us and things like that. My dad, to get all that together, I was like, I have to leave my job, you know, so that's really what happened. So, and we kind of left at the same time pretty much. And then just, you know, we were like, all right, we're going to focus on this. We're going to do this. And that's going to be that. So I think the catalyst was just getting the whole family together. You know, our daughter's still in college, but our son had graduated college, and he had like kind of a wacky job. So he, you know, he wanted to he was always there working at nights anyways.
Yeah.
So
It's like a full family business.
yes, sir.
It is. His dad was a master carpenter in Pittsburgh, and he was so happy. And he retired, and he got a little job at Lowe's, and he was so happy.
Oh yeah.
And Gino's like, just come make a case or two. Come on, Dad. This man now works 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And his face is melting off.
Man, he was pimping that forklift at Lowe's. I'd go drive over there and mess with him. You know, he's like over there in the lumber section. They threw him right in the lumber section. And every day I saw him, I'm like, Dad, you can come do whatever you want. If you come here, we will build you a wood shop, and you can do whatever you want. And finally he caved. Like, it was a year ago, around August, a year ago, and he caved. And that's when we started with the original boxes. And then that's when we sent one to O'Neill, and he like sent us back the greatest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, those are the ones. ZMF has the 3 originals that Chris did.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Nice.
So yeah, it just kind of grew from there, and now we have everybody's just there full time, and it's our living. It's how we make our living.
Yep.
That's super cool. I want to real quick. How about you, Chris? What got you into making the headphone stands?
Well, I was already doing like woodworking just as a hobby, just because it was fun. I made a coffee table once, and I'm like, well, I got to do this forever now, because that's a great coffee table. Yeah, and then it was just a hobby, and then once I got into headphones, I bought a stand, one of those like Omega stands, and I didn't like it just because my headphone didn't sit properly on it, and I'm like, well, I'll just make my own. That's no problem. And and that was it. And I made a template out of the first one that I made, just in case I needed to make another one. And it was a good thing because I still use that same template today. So,
can't go wrong
yeah.
there. What? Sorry, there was another question. I was like, but I'll save it for later. I want to save it for both of you guys. I'll let Jay hit the next question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of, with regard to like this whole relationship that you guys decided to connect, like how did that kind of come to be, and what was this, how did that happen?
All Sherry.
Well, it's Chris too. So Chris,
I'm sorry, on our side it was Sherry.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was.
Sorry.
I don't remember, Chris, if it was I think I did a post or something. I did something.
I made some comment, I think, on a YouTube video or something.
It was a YouTube video, and he said those headphones would look a lot better on one of my stands.
I can't remember.
It was something like that. And I started laughing, and I said maybe something. I don't know. I said something. And then we were getting ready to do the Florida audio show. And I hit him up and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm Sherry. We're going to do this show. If you want to send some stands down, we'll display them. Okay. He said, hell yeah. And that's kind of
free advertising. That's what I thought. Sure, they can have some stands.
Yeah. And
now look where we are.
I know. It just grew from there and people were so excited about the stands. And then he made one that was a Paduke, I think Wengi, something like that. So we made a matching case to match the headphone stands, which people were buying them left and right. And then as a thank you, he gave me some stands, and I sent him the stack to match his stand. And
and now I use them every day. Still,
so your last drop was what, 7 minutes, Chris?
Yeah, the last. I put out some stands. It took about 7 minutes to sell them all.
Oh, good for you.
I was refreshing my browser.
I did get a.
I'm still upset about that.
Yeah, Jay. I think your boy in the chat, dude, he got one.
Yeah,
right?
No, I'm not talking to Keeb right now.
You got the one that you wanted.
I hope we survive this. But I do have a really important question. I know y'all said that your dad was working on the cases initially, and now Chris is working on some cases. Does your dad and Chris get along, or is there?
Yeah. So my dad. So my dad's like the coolest dude on earth. Like he's the nicest guy. Like he's like impossible to get mad. He's like one of those guys. Super, super nice. So so what we usually do is my dad will make the case, and sometimes like let's say like we get the cases, we either we'll purposely design cases to go to Chris, or let's say some of them, they'll have like a scratch or something on the top that's too deep that we can't sand out. That's like perfect to send to Chris because he can, work on that. Sometimes just, it's like kind of a mixture. Sometimes, just there might be some weirdness and we send him up to Chris.
This one was scrap. Like we had scrap wood, the pallet.
Yeah.
His dad started making the people around us where our shop is, we're very industrial. So they throw pallets and just kind of old furniture and just ruins basically. So his dad and he started picking them up and they made cases out of them and they're beautiful. But we sent one to Chris and now they're
gold.
Those ones turned out really, really nice. The pallet wood ones, both of those. I was surprised.
We had one for show, like out at CAF. We had a one like was it holding cards or something? We had it like
it was holding our glowing pens.
Yeah, she had it like set up like vertically and it put the pens in it, and it was like the most awesome thing. But my dad really likes Chris's work. Like we all do. So like when he sends the stuff back, it's all like, hey, everybody gather around the conference table because we're gonna yes.
Everybody's gasping and cheering.
We're trying to like cut the boxes and not damage anything. People are yelling like, dude, you're cutting it too deep. But it's like Christmas when those boxes come.
Yeah, you get. I think they should arrive tomorrow. More of them.
Oh,
it's
and the Wengi ones. Oh my god, those are. Those ones turned out amazing.
Yes.
Is that Christmas a pun on Chris's? No, I'm kidding. All right. I appreciate you. I appreciate you answered that question. I was joking a little bit, but that's good to know. I mean, really, really cool.
Very, very cool. So next up, What is as far as the like future collaborations for you guys? Is it just are you gonna continue doing that with Chris? As far as you and Chris, what's the next evolution of that? Do you think?
Speakers, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Speakers. I was gonna suggest that.
Not
The
that we're
speaker
gonna do
enclosure.
No.
I think that's a good idea.
Be still my
You
heart.
guys need to make speakers.
yeah, we still mine too.
So there's a no. I have to always make sure she'll punch my leg and I'll be able to see my eye.
Charlie horse. Oh god.
Yeah. So at this show, let me caveat this. Geshelli is not going to be making speakers anytime soon, but at the show, a buddy of a buddy's who makes like kind of taller bookshelf size speakers, a little bit taller. He came through with some speakers and that he made, like they're DIY speakers, and he gave us the plans for them. So we really want to make a set, like in our wood shop and then send them up. So Chris, we want to do them the same kind of way where we did like the step, how the wood was like almost like a hardwood floor on the amplifier. That's how we always talk about it, where it's like kind of the different pieces, and then and have him just do his magic and show it off to everybody.
Like how many different types of wood were in the big amps, the speaker amp? Like 5, I think I counted. 5 or 6.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, we were like trying to find every random piece that we could when we did it. We just wanted to make it like as random as possible. There was the oak in there was all pallets. So the oak, there might have even been like pallet pine, maybe. I can't remember which one. But
I think it was a couple different kinds of oak for sure.
Yeah. And but we're trying to do the same thing. So we have the guy speaker design, and he, we want to stamp his name, stamp your name on it. We don't really worry about us. We'll just say we made the original. We just fabricated the wood, but we definitely wanted to have something like that, where it would match that amp at a show. It would just be like ridiculous. So,
and then for the immediate, we're going to do our first drop with Chris's stuff on Black Friday.
We can't wait.
So that's going to be our Black
It's
Friday.
coming up in a week.
Yeah,
probably.
We're gonna throw it out there, and what he sends is what we're gonna sell. And once it's done, it's done. So
7 minutes.
Oh.
That's we got to beat that.
I'm not gonna get caught sleeping like last time.
Yeah, get one of those bots to snipe it.
What's cool is everyone is different, so no two people are going to have the same case. This is truly going to be an original O'Neill creation.
Yeah, even the wood patterns and stuff are all like just mixed up, just different stuff, all random.
That's really cool. I think that's really, really cool.
I did not know that was going down.
Surprise!
This is like, y'all sold me. Like, you got a customer. Let's go.
Yeah, we were kind of keeping it quiet at first because what happens is we start getting emails saying, "Hey, I've known you for 5 years.
Right.
Set one aside." So we're like, this is going to be open, and we're just
no favoritism. Just
drop and go.
All right. Well, forget what y'all just got in a DM by now. I didn't know that wasn't cool.
That was pretty dope. Real quick then, for both of you, and by both I mean Geshelli. That's crazy. Yeah. Real quick, what got you guys into audio? Like, what was kind of a thing? Like, was it always? I mean, I see guitars. I see, like what was the catalyst for what made you really want to get into, and then especially headphones? I mean, that seems to be a unique one in and of itself.
You first, Chris. You first this time.
Well, I've always liked music in general, and then it was actually because the band Tool wanted to release their last album, which was a couple, I don't know, 3 years ago now, 2 or 3, and I wanted to actually like properly hear it. So that's literally it. Is that I wanted actually to get in to hear it properly. So bought some good headphones.
And here we are.
And then here we are. Oops.
The rabbit hole is deep. Next up, speakers, and then just.
You're just like, I'm just gonna buy this one pair of really nice headphones, and then I'm done. And
well,
then,
yeah, I bought it was Hi-Fi Man Sundaras were my first like decent good pair.
Good set.
Good start.
It was actually Josh Fowler. His review of it is the ones that got me to buy them. So then I stuck that on the Omega stand, and it just doesn't fit. Like you have to unplug the cables from the bottom, the strain reliefs, because they hit the bottom of the stand, and I'm like, now I got to make a stand. So you can blame Josh for this whole thing, Tyler. Right?
I'll let him know. I'll hit him.
It's his fault.
That's funny. That's cool.
I'd say, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the screen and it's him. So yeah, so I guess I've always been into, my dad's a musician, so forever like been into all kinds of audio, and then my dad turned me into a musician for a long time. So I've always been into it. I think my first real set, other than my old wasn't Archer. What was the old Radio Shack brand? Now I can't think of it. Anyways, there's that old Radio Shack headphones. They were like brown. That was probably like the first set I had when I was a kid. I just can't remember the name right now. Realistic, I think it was. And then, but the first set I ever bought were probably Grado SR80s or SR.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Those were like the workhorse, man. Yeah. And that was like probably in, I don't know, 2000 or somewhere around that time frame. You know, I like went to a hi-fi store in Pittsburgh where I used to live and like tried them out and was like, holy crap. Yeah. And then I got the Grado 325Is, and then from there, just everything, you know, it's funny, I'll get shot for this, but everything from the Bose Quiet Comforts, which are the greatest things to take on an airplane, you know, to, I don't know, just any and everything, Hi-Fi Mans, you know, all the fun ones. We really got heavily into it though once the audio company kind of took form. Now we had to buy a bunch to test. So you know, it's a whole different game. Now it's just I grab whatever is like within arm's reach and like, okay, let me just listen to this for a minute, you know. But I don't know. It's your turn.
I don't really get a turn. I grew up, my brother was a huge audiophile. I loved music and was in bands. So I grew up around music, and I freakishly know like every lyric of every song from like 1960 to
it's weird.
Now it's really weird. So I'm more of a into the music more than the gear. But you know, I work with the gear and I can, you know, I appreciate it more, but this was never like my thing. It was always
I'm opposite. I'm just about the gear. All I do is listen to like helicopter noises and like
helicopter noises,
lawnmowers, and they're like, wow, the lawnmower is so lifelike. I mean, like, geez, this is so great.
That's funny.
You gotta show me your lawnmower record.
Oh, this is all just various lawnmower recordings.
Yes.
You know, that's it. Whoa.
Pop up. Somebody must have walked by them. Oh, there we go. She's okay. I'm sorry. That's the dog going crazy.
Oh, you're good. No worries. Well, that's pretty much, I mean, kind of, I think, for Jay, we discussed this before too. Like, we all kind of have a similar kind of getting into music kind of thing. I grew up with music myself, so, but then for headphones, it was video games. And it was a rapid downturn from there.
I mean, for me, it was always, there was like two memories I really have is going garage shop, like, you know, garage sales, and just getting two different amps for like $15. And then I was like swapping them, like, oh my gosh, that sounds different. You know, like, why does that sound different? And they kind of went down that path. And then also I have a memory of a boombox and my uncle telling me to like, no, like sit down. And they had detachable speakers. Like I just had them connected. And he was just like, put them right here. And we sat on a chair and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's not coming from the speaker. And that was like mind blown. And also just being a vinyl head, just like, I want to make this sound better. And so. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, I think, want to get into some main course type stuff, Jay, or what do you think?
Let's go. Let's eat. The appetizers were good, but like, I'm ready, you know.
Getting some meat
I'm
and
ready
potatoes.
For the meat and potatoes. Let's go. Or if you don't eat tofu and broccoli, whatever
some
you're into.
mushrooms, kebabs, and
mushroom kebabs are good. Don't.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, man, mushrooms are fire.
I'm with it.
You should have written that.
So, do you want us to kick it off, Jay, or?
Yeah, I'll take it off. Yeah, so, you know, y'all were at Capital Audio Fest. You launched this. I know you mentioned that earlier. You guys had this really, really great collab with Chris. Why don't you share with us a little bit about, you know, this amp, what makes it unique, what makes it special, what, you know, really, really brought you in here, you know, this space, like going from headphones to 2-channel, which is you know, a whole new ball game, right?
So I'd say so for a long time I didn't want to do any. Actually, let me start it like this. So there was a slight part of the story. So when I first started my career, it was probably 1999-ish, 2000-ish. I worked for a company where we made devices for people who couldn't speak. So they were called like augmentative communication devices. So like people who had throat issues or ALS. So, you know, they would hook these up to their wheelchair or whatever, type on them, they talk. So I always did the audio side of it. And I was more into like doing embedded engineering, like firmware. So this guy that was there who was the hardcore EE, he was probably 10, 15 years older than me. He actually, probably about 10 to 15. And he kind of took me under his wing and really taught me like all the ins and outs of like practical electrical engineering and all the crazy stuff. So the point of that is we used to stand outside all the time. He was a smoker. I wasn't, but I always went outside. I was always like next to him trying to like sponge. And he was like, you know, we would always talk and we'd always talk about audio stuff. And like, we were like, man, one day, you know, we're going to have like some sort of audio product or something, you know? So that was just kind of like, you know, my generic story was the other one, but that's like kind of the real foundation. We, you know, we were like, hey, you know, we're going to do some kind of audio product one day. We always talked about it, but it kind of never, you know, came to fruition. So I moved to Florida in like 2008, somewhere around there, 2009, and he stayed in Pittsburgh, and we kind of lost touch. And then Sherry, I'd say a couple of years into Geshelli, Sherry's like, hey, you got to hook up with him, you know, like, you know, you got to get back with him. So I found his wife on Facebook, pinged her, and then she's like, you just call him. And I didn't even have his number. I had lost his number. So we connected back up, and it was like the greatest, like, boom, the sparks, you know? So a lot of people, like at that time we were making DACs and headphone amps, and a lot of people kept asking us to make a bigger amp, like a bookshelf amp or whatever, a 2-channel amp. And it's like a lot of work if you're by yourself doing that, especially if you're going to make that to be manufacturable. Like a lot of times when doing this stuff, like people, you know, the DIYers, as I was, you can do anything you want. You can put gold-plated everything because it's only going to cost you that one time. You know, but when you got to think about the entire thing as making it manufacturable, that's like a whole different world. So we always laugh when people make the comments online like, dude, I could make that in my sleep. It's like, you probably could, but you have to make it so you can make like thousands of them. You know what I mean? Like do it that way. So
scale is not easy.
Oh God, no. God, we learned that the hardest of ways. So eventually a lot of people were asking, we were getting a lot of just people saying, writing in like, you know, you ever going to do this? And I kept always saying, nah, I don't want to. It's too much for me by myself. So I talked to my buddy, the guy, you know, he was with us now for about 8 months or something, you know, and I said, hey man, I said, you interested in like doing the amp? And he's like, let's do it. You know, we were actually working on a completely different project together. And we're like, look, we're going to stop working on this right now. And tomorrow we're going to start this amp. And we got a couple of like, you know, wish lists from followers and things. A couple of YouTubers chimed in and just said, hey, you know, we want to do it like this, or not we want to do it, but they were saying, hey, why don't you do this? For instance, you know, one of the YouTubers is like, you got to put VU meters. I wouldn't have thought in a heartbeat to put VU meters on it. Just, you know, crazy stuff, you know. So we put a pre-out main in. So it's the old school loop on the back. So you can, so basically anytime you're running it, you always have to have an RCA connected in the back. And what you can do is run that pre-out into an EQ. You can run the amp as just a preamp. It actually separates the preamp and the main amp with RCAs. So a lot of the old heads who, you know, from the 80s and 70s are like dying over that at the show. But anyway, so yeah, we started working on it, and you know, we decided, all right, we want to do like an older school analog design, you know, something like from the late 70s, 80s era. Like we didn't, I mean, everybody's making kind of the newer Class D amps. They're delicious amps. They phenomenal measurements. We were like, screw that. We just want to do some, you know, the feel of a you know, just an old 80s amp. If it's got a buzz, it's got a buzz, you know, so be it, you know. And yeah, so, you know, Mike went down the route of doing the amp module and the AC board, and then I went down doing the I did the whole preamp front end and the back end. And actually, yeah, and then we also integrated the Archel 2.5 XL headphone amp in it. So
so it's just built in there.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, and it's got the full 2-watt headphone amp, so you can just, you know, we're gonna make the prototype doesn't do this, but what we're gonna do is when you plug in the front, it'll shut off the mains. So that way, you know, you can just have it on your desk. It's kind of big to have on your desktop, so
it's big.
Over here.
It's really big.
Yes. And it's actually that big because we put a full toroid transformer in there, which is like gigantic, 115 millimeters in diameter. Even the amp circuit, those, you know, it's just big. Everything's big. Big caps in it, you know.
It's heavy.
Go big.
Yeah. Right. So that's kind of the full story of that amp that you know, I kind of was telling over and over during Capital, but yeah, I mean, you know, we weren't worried about, you know, the whole kind of measurement side as much as we respect it. Trust me. It was just, we wanted to do what we wanted to do. And we both loved like the old Yamaha 80s amps. And, you know, we knew if we were putting VU meters, like we had to have it like a Class AB. It had to be like, you know, big RCAs and all the fun stuff, you know. And we actually added some XLRs to make it a little bit more modern. So.
And it was funny at Capital, people were bringing us different speakers because you know, we haven't tested it.
No, not at all, like barely.
Yeah, so all different watts, and I bet you can't do these, you know, and we hook them up, and we went through so many speakers over the weekend, just testing us, seeing if it would work. And
one of the YouTubers brought up, are they Mika? I can't remember. They're like Amazon speakers that are something like 100.
The RB42s?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're never going to drive these things. They're super inefficient. And like, we're like, all right, let's try. And he's cranking it up and they're just like blowing out of thing.
We got told on.
Yes, we got ratted out.
Yeah, the other rooms got mad at us.
One of the rooms with the $25,000 speakers like came over and like, we're trying to do a demo. Stop, cut this out. It's nonsense.
That's how you know you built a good product when you're.
Thank you. The world needs to hear that.
If you're not upsetting your neighbors, you don't got a system. Yeah, something else.
Thank you. I love you, Jay.
Yeah, that's facts, dude. That's jokes. Right on. It sounds like a blast, man. I had a bunch of friends that were going to all of the rooms and what have you at CAF, and were taking pictures and messaging me going, oh, you know. I was like, you need to go stop by. I want to take pictures of the new amp. I want to see this thing.
So I was going to say, the funny thing about us at shows is there's, you know, again, usually the 5 of us go. So the 5 family members, and then we like have a pact, and we have a brief and a debrief as a family. So all of us we're all, you know, family, the kids, and we all like say, you know, we're gonna we're gonna run this as a family. We're gonna have fun. Nothing's gonna get between us during this show, you know. And we say fun probably 55 times. And when you come into our rooms, you see all the personalities. We have fun. You know, listen to whatever you want. You know, enjoy yourself. And then we get yelled at for crowds of people in the hallways laughing, and it's almost like a party like atmosphere. I don't care. Like, we're like, oh, you know, you can go in the other rooms and sit and listen to jazz or whatever you want, but you can come in our room and listen to 80s Metallica. We don't care.
I had Dio,
Frank,
you know,
enjoy yourself.
And somebody complained, actually it was more than somebody. So a lot of people don't like that vibe. And my response, very respectfully, is there is 90 other rooms playing what you want to hear.
Just go there.
There's nobody else playing what they want to hear.
Right.
So that's kind of And we're fortunate because we manufacture everything in house. If nobody buys this thing, it doesn't matter. We still, we made it. We love it.
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure Jay's going to buy one for sure.
Reals.
But that's the thing. We don't, not outsourcing. We're not relying on, we didn't expend the money for 5,000 boards.
Right,
you know,
right,
it's just
right.
that we'll make them if they sell cool, the Erics.
Yeah.
We did a fully balanced, it was just a fully balanced amp.
People laughed at us online. They're like, what are you doing? That's stupid.
Yeah.
I use mine every day.
No, it's just
Thank
voice
you.
through.
I'm using it right now. Yeah,
Tell
that's,
them all the time.
Which is
But-
what I
but-
want, by the way. Which I love that design of that amp because, like, for me, I love focused products. I really, really appreciate I actually my day job I'm a product manager. I build software.
Sure.
And it's like
Okay.
the old mantra of, and you've been building products for a long time as well, is this idea of you build for everyone, you build for no one. And for me, it's just like there's distractions of like getting bloated with features, and it's just.
Yes.
And I always look at it if you know about product development, you always know every single piece, every feature has a trade-off.
Yep.
And in my mind, when I see a single-ended port on there, I'm like, I want a balanced amp. There's some trade-off that had to happen.
Yes.
Something
You
had
have
to
that
give.
Single-ended. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's not even true. But that's what I feel.
No,
when
it's
I look
true.
at a product like that.
Yes, no, that's very true. That's exactly why we did it that way. Because we said we keep, so, you know, in an XLR, you have a hot and cold leg on each side, so you have 3 pins. We wanted to keep each pin going through its own amp channel and its own buffer to the headphones. So basically, you know, the signal goes directly all the way up that wire right to your ear without crisscrossing, summing, any kind of math being done on it. We wanted it to be as pure as we possibly could give it to you, you know, and be able to say that, you know. And a lot of times those amps, there's nothing wrong with it, but a lot of times those amps have to, like, you know, mix the signals and do different things. And you're exactly right, dude. When you're trying to stuff all that in there, there's tons of concessions and everything in the world. You're exactly right about that.
Yeah, and the consensus when we introduced it was nobody's going to buy that.
Oh, yeah.
Blah blah blah. I mean, you could go back and look, and it was we just got destroyed, and we were like, we like it.
Yeah.
And that was what 2018.
Yeah, we sold tons of
Yeah, we're still selling them.
You're still selling them.
People still buy them. It's still doing good, and we still love it. So
That's all that matters. That's true.
Yes, sir. Exactly. It's true, man.
It's fun,
It's
and
true.
people are buying them. You know, that's at the end of the day.
We always feel that, like, kind of our attitude, and it shows, like, when people meet us at the shows, it's like, look, our attitude is we're doing this, like, for us and the family, and we're having fun, and it bleeds out, man.
Yep.
The people, like, catch the vibe, they catch the wave, and, you know, a lot of times they're like, you know, like when I came to the show, I kind of saw it one way. We came into your room, we hung out, and it's like, you know, it kind of changed things. And, you know, and I spent $249 the next day. You know, it wasn't like I spent $5,000, $10,000 the next day. You know,
I think that's what's really cool about, like, this next phase of, like, audio companies and, like, that are really hi-fi audio companies. They're refocusing on, like, why we do this is to have fun and to listen to music.
Yes,
To be, like,
yes.
accessible. Because, like, I'm, like, romantic about systems. I grew up, I'm an 80s, 90s kid. Every cool kid had a system that was older than me. You know, everyone had a 2-channel system. They had, you know, they had, like, JBL speakers.
Yep.
You know, like, your dad had a Macintosh amp, and he was cool because, you know, it lit up and all that stuff, and it stacked on top of the power amp, and you weren't allowed to touch it.
Yeah.
But, like, all that.
Don't you go near that.
You know, like, I feel like there's a revival of hi-fi, and it's like, you know, companies like y'all are creating that really, really, you're getting a quality product right out the bat, and it's like at that point. So it's really exciting to hear, like, you know, the vibe that y'all are putting out in that and disrupting that, because you know, people talk about why the audiophile hobby is so niche. It's because I feel like I'm gonna say some controversial things here. Like, some of the old guard was like, they wanted to keep it to the old guard. You know, it's you know, and you know, we got to bring this out to more folks, because at the end of the day, like, when I first heard high-end gear and it was, like, affordable, like, my mind was blown. Like, it was just like, I never heard that symbol that way before, or, you know, I didn't know that, you know, this little nuance, you know, echo of the guitar was going on, and that's amazing, you know, and it feels more connected to the music. So
yeah. I think that's true, man. Like, especially in the headphone world, it seems like they're on this race to get to this, like, the first headphone to get above $10,000 or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's so crazy to me, and it's like, what's different about it though? What have you brought to the table other than that it's, you know, a high-end headphone, or I don't know, like. I think that there's, and as I'm listening, as I have these ridiculous
$4,000.
These are demo unit, damn it. But I mean, I love ZMFs. I mean, those
Yeah,
guys
you'll
are
buy a
awesome.
pair later.
Yeah, that's probably true. But like, no, but beyond that though, like, I think that's important though. I think because like if you don't like, the music's the most important factor. That's what we're all here for originally, anyways, right? Or you should be. I mean, I know there's some people that are all about the gear more so than the audio, but I mean that, I don't know. To me, the music's first, you know, and then the gear is just what helps you get to that point where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the music. And it's just that, and if it looks cool and it makes you feel good to be there and interact with it, it makes it everything better. It's that whole experience of listening to music, you know. So that's
I'm more about measuring things and telling everyone on the internet that what they like isn't good.
It's good.
No, I made a joke about that recently. I actually made a joke about that recently. Somebody said, I think it was actually my boy Hobby Talk. He got one, and I think it was him, and he got a measurement rig, and or was it him? I can't remember, but I basically said, I think I called it MAL, like just say no to MAL, measurements above listening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's hilarious. But I don't know. That's my take. Like I got into music to play video games because I wanted the best sound for video games, because at the time I couldn't have speakers because I had a daughter who was born, and then headphones came into play, and then she was born, so then couldn't listen to music as much, and then I found this weird, like, Genesis, I guess was the word for it, where like where you come into this world where like I had a whiskey and I was listening to some music on my headphones, and it was isolated, and it was just this moment of just like peace and quiet, and like, but you know what I mean, where you just all of a sudden it just hit, and I was like, I need, like, the endorphins and everything, all my weird chemicals were going crazy, and I was like, I need more of this. And so that was my definitive moment of breakaway down the rabbit hole for me. So
it's easy to do.
Yeah. Tyler, if I may, I want to dive in a little bit more into the amp and like your guys' like design approach to it. So kind of goes into two parts here. Like, I'm a little curious more. You shared like the kind of how the project came about. Like, first of all, like how much time like took by, how many different iterations kind of came through, as much as you want to share there. I know there's some trade secrets that classified. But yeah, I would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Again, you'll see my eyes. That means I got punched. I'd say that's a Charlie horse if I say anything wrong, and I'll abruptly stop.
There's a reason I'm here with him.
Yeah. I'll probably give it. Nah, honestly, so I'll address time. So I'm gonna say, let's just say like a year. You know, something like that of just like. The beginnings of it was a lot of just like software development, you know, or product development. You know, the beginnings of it were just a lot of talking, a lot of like, you know, us making lists, trying to figure it out, what we're going to do. And then I'd say like we started grinding before Expona, so before April. So I mean, when we started really grinding. Yeah.
It's been going on for a while.
Yeah. So let's just say like January, February, we started grinding hard. I can't, like, it's something in that time frame where we started like board design and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can say like during the whole process, I'm trying to answer the question, I guess, but during the whole process, I mean, we don't really have any trade secrets per se. I mean, because a Class AV amp is a Class AV amp. Like, so I always tell people, like, honest to God, audio's pretty solved. You know, it's I mean, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I know. We're already black sheep. Don't worry. They already hate us. Don't worry. So, I mean, audio in general, we're just refining. You know, so you look at these DAC chips and stuff. I mean, you know, okay, we're going to get like another half of dB out of this. That's way out of range anyways, you know. Same with amplifiers, you know, it's like, how many times can we just all make the same amplifier, you know, and add a capacitor, you know, a capacitor resistor network that makes it a little bit different. So, but yeah, I mean, with ours, I mean, you know, Mike, I'm trying to like speak for him, but he's probably the more definitive one on the actual amplifier module portion of it.
Yep.
But he had some of his own magic in there. You know, but at the end of the day, me and him always talked about it. It's just a Class AV amp. You know, we want it to just sound good. We're not looking to create this magical thing. We just want it to be a clean AV amplifier. That was the goal on his work. And, you know, it was, you know, we wanted to not catch your house on fire. That would be one of those things.
Key component.
We wanted to not, we don't want it to blow up your
have.
speakers, those kinds of things. But honestly, with the amp, I mean, he did put his magical sauce on it, but we have an APX 555 and we plug it into there, and as long as the frequency response was flat, that's what we wanted.
Well, he developed his own circuit, and you developed your own. I mean, it's not. I just want to make it clear that you guys.
Yes, I probably talk it down a little bit, but no. So yeah, he developed kind of his, like I said, his magic sauce on it. But like I said, at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to quantifying it all with measurements or things like that, you look at the frequency response, it should be flat, and it's flat, and that's what we were going for. Most of my personal work on it was just making like the cleanest possible preamp I could. So you know, we came out of a headphone world, so that means like everything is 16 OPA 1656 op amp driven. You know, everything's going in the front. This is just all the front end. Everything's going to be absurdly clean. So it's funny because we're feeding this Class AV kind of noisier amp, you know, with this like ultra clean front end, and it's, you know, it's just like how it works. I think a lot of it also was we were incorporating a lot of just features. I was talking to one group and I'm like, dude, VU meters are a pain in the ass. Like they seem like they shouldn't
beautiful.
be.
They look great.
The reason why is because you want them to bounce at every listening level. And it's like really hard. So what happens is, like, you know, you have these ultra sensitive speakers. We learned this at the show. Somebody brings up these ultra sensitive speakers and like you just turn the knob and they're like blasting and the meters aren't moving. Well, the meters are just sitting there because there's like no voltage. You know, they're just like, you know, and then you get the ones YouTuber brought that from Amazon, and you got to crank it all the way up because they're super inefficient and the meters are just pegging. So everybody wants the meters to be perfectly balanced. And that's just one of the little things that you got to sit there and play with forever. Other things, just like, you know, the pots motorized, you got to work on that circuit. It doesn't work.
I saw a remote control. Is there a remote control with that?
Yes.
This will be our first remote control.
That's awesome, actually.
And it's got to click. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I think it does.
You know, and then just adjusting LED brightness. Like everybody complains about it's too bright, it's too dim.
So we're already getting okay, that's cool, but is Chris going to make a remote control for you?
Yeah,
a wooden one. A wooden one.
With wooden buttons and everything.
And we're like,
wooden circuit boards.
Yeah.
I want the volume control, the top volume to be a little wooden smiley emoji wood carving, and then the frowny for the down volume.
Right. That's kind of my long-winded answer on that. But yeah, I mean, there is some special sauce in the amplifier circuit, but ultimately we didn't have much test time to, I have to say, like we were frantically trying to get it done for the show. So Mike had his pieces done back in September. Gino was like preoccupied and didn't get his pieces done. I didn't get my pieces done until like end of October.
Well, to be honest, 2 a.m. So we were leaving Tuesday morning about 7. We were supposed to leave. 2 a.m. He's still soldering.
Yeah,
we actually brought all his soldering gear with us up to the show because wasn't.
I was like scared to death.
I was like getting mad, and then we
just concerned about something going wrong.
Yeah, we expected. We expected something.
I didn't ever ran that thing. Like it ran, and we did tests. You know. Like I said, we ran it on the APX as we were developing. So like, you know, we're making debug builds of the software basically. You know, every little, you know, that's what the APX is for us, is our debugging machine. So, we're seeing what's wrong. We're looking at noise. So we knew how, roughly how it would perform. Then we tested it with some speakers we have in house, a couple sets of studio monitors, and we kind of knew how it would sound, but we didn't know it was going to last from when we're setting up Thursday to when we're breaking it down Sunday night. I was man, I hope this thing, honest to God, during the show, every 15 minutes, I'm walking over and putting my hand over the vent. So Chris, you know how there was that carved out hole?
Yep.
Yeah. So you
how
probably
hot does that get?
Actually, not at all. We were surprised. So we ended up venting it from the back.
Yeah, I saw those back ventilation too. Yeah.
Right. And by the way, you did that vent perfect justice, my man. You carved that. I mean, it was. We
carved
were kind
the hell out of that vent.
It had a note on it. Don't carve here.
Oh, you put a note on it? I didn't know. I had no idea because I was like, dude, he did this like he knew.
I did.
You did know.
I didn't know you told me.
Like, oh my God.
There's a sticky note.
Man, it's like you fucking knew this. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna swear. Sorry.
No, that's how we communicate, through sticky notes.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was like, it's like you knew, and because it was so perfect. But no, it actually we ran it pretty hard and wasn't really getting hot at all. We were surprised. I mean, I told Mike during the show, I'm like, dude, the heat's really well.
And we threw a plexi. We designed that 8 o'clock the night before the show.
Yeah.
And we were so unprepared. And Chris actually made us 2 cases.
Yes.
And we were supposed to bring 2, and didn't.
I could not get the second one finished in time.
Yeah.
It's like a ball of wires right now. So
I have a quick question. The second case, is it readily available to look at?
Sure.
Not here.
Oh, we're at home, so no.
Yeah.
You gotta ping us at the shop. If we were doing this at the shop, I would have went and grabbed it for you. But
I'm just curious. I'm curious to see what Chris's work is on the second one.
Equally as
I have some pictures for it. I'll show you later. Yeah.
Stunning.
And the sides look almost like Alice in Wonderland.
You had me.
It's so hard to describe. It's amazing.
Chris, I wanted to say, you may have noticed this or not. So you may have noticed that one of the cases had the stepped wood on the top and the other one didn't. I don't know if you actually noticed it. You'll have to look closely in your pictures. One of them was striped on top. And what happened was, so we made the case. So my dad made the 2 cases, but he carved the window on the wrong side.
Oh no.
So he carved it over. So they were both supposed to have this random stepped look. And and I'm sorry, not carved it, but he routed it out on the wrong side. And he didn't know how to tell me and Sherry. So he's just sitting in the shop, and I go over Dad, how's it going? And his head's just down. And I'm like, what happened? I thought he the router went crazy and jacked it up or something. And he's like, dude, I routed out the wrong side. And I'm like, and we looked at it and we said, it'll be beautiful. I said, Chris will make it.
Yeah. You can't get mad at his dad.
Oh God, no.
He's the nicest. How do you get mad at somebody who's working so hard? And we're just all right.
We're
I didn't even
we'll get this fixed.
didn't even notice at all.
That's funny. Good. So we knew, because I kept saying, Dad, we're gonna send it to him. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
And when they came back, beautiful.
Chris, he was so relieved. He was so relieved.
Yes.
I have a question for y'all. I mean, kind of thinking about your guys' design approach to y'all's gear, and it seems like a lot of thoughtfulness kind of came into the aesthetics of it. Obviously collabing with Chris on this, and I'd be curious to get both of y'all personal perspective of how does the aesthetics of a piece of gear help you connect to the music, or if it does at all.
This is important to me.
I think your equipment should look good because it sounds better when it looks good.
Yep.
And purple.
It's a true thing, and you can't tell me otherwise.
This is facts.
It is. That's why when you listen to a good-looking tube amplifier, it sounds really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, and then you listen to one of their carved cases, your mind's gonna be blown.
Yeah, it sounds so much better than the other one.
Well,
Exactly.
Why don't you put it in a carved case?
A/B test them, but you got to look at them. Otherwise, they'll sound the same.
It adds that perfect amount of Pratt that you need. You know what I'm saying? That perfect amount of Pratt.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. It's so ridiculous.
We've brought a lot of people into this, the next generation. because of our colors and because of the strange designs. And I talk about it all the time. There's a skateboarder in California who wanted his deck done, and classic cars. And I can match anything, being a powder coater, doing it in house. And when you look at something and you like the way it looks and it's designed exactly the way you wanted it, you're going to be happy, and you're listening to music happy. I mean, you know, it just helps invoke more people into the community.
Well said.
There's something I think about too. Like people always make fun of me. That's part of the reason I'm not a big EQ person. Like I don't like to EQ things, and I always say it's because I don't want barriers in my way to get to sitting and enjoying the music. You know what I mean? So if I can just plug in and go, the happier I am. And if it looks good while doing it, even better. You know, like that's my style. Like I don't want to have to sit here and fiddle for 30 minutes just to hear a song. You know?
I am 100% on board. I personally, just me personally, I hate having to deal with little graphs and buttons and all this. Like, you know, and then you're like unsure. You're like, did I pick the right one? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, did I pick the right filter? And now it's like, uh-oh, you know.
You're questioning everything. You're questioning your life all of a sudden. It's gone a whole other direction. Now you're drinking to drink, not to enjoy.
Oh yeah, that's what we like out of the gate. We were like, we want to make things very as plug and play as we can. You know, we're like, somebody just called in today and I was talking to him and he said, oh, you know, can we change the filters? I said, look, we picked this filter. It looked the best on the APX, you know, and the frequency response. I mean, that's why we picked it. And just plug it in and enjoy it. And if you don't like it, return it. You know what I mean? If it's something you don't dig, just return it. It's all good.
100%.
Do you guys use op amps for your stuff, or is it integrated?
So like our DACs and amps, our headphone amps are op amp based for the gain stage, and then we use buffers, like LMH buffers. They're kind of like op amps to power everything, to drive everything. So it is an op amp. Our headphone amplifiers are an op amp based amp, if you want to call it that.
Not replaceable though.
So people ask this all the time. Okay.
All the time, I'm sure.
Clarify all of this.
Tweakers, you gotta love them.
Yeah, I want to roll my op amps, man. We got to roll these things.
So
that's great.
So the op amps that we use, they're OPA. They have like the OPA 1612, 1656 series. As far as I know, I've never seen a dip version that you can roll. Now, you can put a socket on there and people can try to use like a zero insertion, or not a zero insertion, but like a push socket and pull them out with tweezers. We can't fit those kind of things really in our devices, nor can we like really manufacture them with those kind of sockets. So we do a decent amount of Sparkos types of things, you know, where people will send us the Sparkos adapters. Mm-hmm. We can make the wooden cases taller, you know, so you can fit the Sparkos adapter and then you can roll whatever the hell you want. Cool. It's all good, you know. But yeah, the manufacturing is you know, also a reason why we have to use SO8 designs that, you know, just solder right down. So we have our own pick and place machines that assemble the boards. So they just tick, 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 tick. And those op amps come on big reels. So, you know, we can't pop them in there. They just pop up right on and then solder. Pop right on, solder. So, but we do work with the guys who want to do the Sparkos stuff, or you know want to put the adapter and all that.
Do all the crazy op amp rolling, that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. So yeah, you know, it's generally you have to like access the Geshelli secret menu. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
And that's the secret menu stuff.
Up, down, left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Our secret menu is like way bigger than the real menu. Like, so there's always like little things we're doing for people, and you know they're always asking for weird stuff. So
that's really cool. I agree. That was way dope. Real quick, and I want to ask another question for Chris specifically, because I'm curious what's next for you, man. As far as like besides this stuff, because this is awesome. What's the evolution of O'Neill's Creation Workshop?
More volume, unintended, of just everything I'm doing. Just more stands, because obviously they sell out pretty quick. Mm-hmm. And even with the last drop I did, I ended up getting an angry email from a guy couple minutes after
What's his name?
that he couldn't get one and he had a
sorry.
bad
I'm sorry.
experience. No. So I take that as a compliment, actually.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's like so just doing a lot more of it.
That's cool.
And I'm going to be kind of busy with all this stuff for probably a while. I'm assuming they want more.
Yeah, I think that's a good assumption.
Yeah, the busier you can get me, the better.
Hey man,
that's
be
what I
careful
want.
what you wish for.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Signs now, but you're in.
Yeah. We got big bold signs with your name too, right?
You
We
got
invested money in that logo.
the economy of scale is coming your way fast, Chris.
Yeah.
That's what he probably wants.
Yeah,
based
don't
on
you-
the show.
Chris, we can build them boxes up if you want, man. We'll send you pallets of them if you want.
Yeah, I'll save a spot in my driveway for it.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Go buy a forklift.
What about y'all? Gino and Shelly, what do y'all got coming up? Anything you guys can share?
Oh, yeah.
Or? Oh, you're getting punched right now? No.
I'm sorry.
I said you're getting punched right now.
No. She's looking at
I'm
you. Can
pinching.
see like I see the one eye. Like the one eye's looking at you, and the other eye just turned right. So DACs, we're gonna revisit DACs soon. And collaboration.
Yeah, we have a couple of collaborations going on with some other audio companies. One is a tube amp company in the tube amp.
Yeah.
That was someone mentioned in the comments a second ago about
like tube amp on its way.
he's like, I want a Geshelli tube amp and I want a Geshelli tube DAC is what he was asking. And his
So
multi-kill is
somebody-
super awesome,
Ooh, a tube
awesome dude.
DAC?
So if they want to
Yeah, you
email
can do tube
me,
DACs,
I can.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry, fellas. I mean, stump over you. I was gonna say, if you want to email us, we can point you to a place that may have something like that has our DAC in it.
Yeah.
That guy makes them. I mean, it's pretty open, but he's making them. But yeah, I'm looking in 2023 get amp manufacturing started, and then probably a scalable. We talked about this at the show a lot. Maybe a DAC that will scale with the size of the amp. You know what I mean? So something so you don't have to have this little teeny tiny DAC. Maybe something that'll scale up. Maybe some more inputs and outputs type of thing. Just like again, something that will scale up with the amp.
Similar to the way we do it for our headphones. We had the DAC, and then we made the amp. Now we're gonna have the amp, and then we'll make a
bigger version, more IOs. I mean, there's not much else you could really do with the DAC, but you know what I mean? Just something that will fit like aesthetically better with the amp. So that we talked about it a lot. We had a ton of people asking us that question, and we had a kind of a thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! I was gonna say we're gonna have to have Chris create a Lego block transformer case setup that it combines, like it slots into each other.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
He made us a triple stack, and nobody believed it was wood. I kept having to put the lights on it. It's very crisp.
Black one?
Yeah.
Oh, black
It
one.
doesn't look like wood.
That's sick.
Ridiculous.
Chris,
I
you
love
saw the
that.
pictures of that. We made it like all black. Like black.
No,
black.
you didn't show me any pictures. I didn't see.
Let me give you any pictures.
I don't.
Damn.
I was busy.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
All right.
My
Well,
fault. Yeah, we made it black on black on black. Like they look awesome, man. Like just the black, everything, all black.
and
That's
he did the sides so they all meld together. The triple
Oh, see,
stack.
that's sexy. That's
Yeah.
I don't see that. You guys don't have that hanging around?
I know, right? I want to see some pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
Gary, that's you
Yeah,
guys.
I'll put something up tomorrow, Chris. So
I had something real quick before I let Jay jump on the next one. Sorry, Jay, I'm going to double tap here. So when you guys were talking about the tubes and the whatnot, and I was thinking about it. And what are your thoughts on, would it ever be a thing? This is just spitballing, so just tell me to shut up and mind my business. But have you ever heard of the new tube? You ever seen that thing?
That sounds really familiar.
It's like
that's been around for a little bit, right?
Yeah. It's like a little tiny tube, and they put them into DAPs now. A lot of times, but they're these small little and they glow like this cool blue color almost. And I was reading multi-kills, multi-one kill his comments, and it made me think about that thing because I have a new tube. There's like a guy that did like the little DIY ones for him, And I was like, I mean, would you guys ever think of, if that was a thing, like if you researched it, would that be something you'd be interested in, like integrating into like a cool, like a YouTube amp? God, that seems like it'd be a really cool.
That'd be cool. I'd have to look at. I've heard of it. That sounds so familiar that I'll probably as soon as I turn off, I'll go look and I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah.
They're in guitar. I think they're in a lot of guitar amps.
Yeah, it just sounds like I think they've been around for like a minute.
Yeah.
But not like so. Yeah. We could look at it. We could definitely, we're always talking about crazy stuff. So like, there's no reason why we wouldn't talk about something like that, and we could look into it. And then we'll probably have to put your name signature on the front, right? But he'll be coming after us. So he'll be like playing this video back, like, dude, I'm the one that came up with that. Yeah.
No,
so,
I
recording
mean,
this so he can, when he's ready to collect his checks, he'd be like, hey, I got this on tape. That
Yeah, exactly.
it's on YouTube. It's on the internet. It's forever now.
It's forever. It's forever.
This is what he y'all gotta be careful. This is.
But yeah, no, we can look into it and see if it integrates in our products. Why not?
What about like an in-house tube? Would you guys ever go down that path, like a tube amp at all, or is that...
You want to answer that one? She said.
So okay, everything we do has to pass CE testing, and we have to be able to pay for it. We don't. Nobody's financing us.
Yep.
And tubes are notoriously hard to get past. So until we're bigger and we can afford
those
better
certifications or like the process to get
it's tens of thousands of dollars just to get a product.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
certified.
They put you in a lab. You go in a lab, and it's crazy.
Wow.
So he would love to, but right now we're just like the people who are bigger than us that already did all that. We're like, yeah, we'll put our DAC in there.
Yeah,
we can just say,
that's normally what we do. Yeah,
for now.
Yeah, we've actually talked about it. We have had the tube conversations. We've also talked to other manufacturers, and they are genuinely having the tube problem of getting tubes right now too. That's also the other piece of that, But I think right now, even the genuine answer, even putting safety testing and all that crap aside, it's like manufacturing that is a lot different than what we normally do. So a tube amp would be mostly like a lot of through hole stuff. It would just be a different manufacturing process. So we'd have to, even with this amp, there's some pieces on it that are like all through hole parts that we have to really change our manufacturing process. So a tube amp would be like a radical change. So for us, we would have to probably spin up a third line for that. And that's very expensive and very hard to do, So, and we don't have like a ton of people.
Yeah, we only have 5 people.
Right. We have the 5 core people, and then our
you don't need to sleep.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what she said.
I do say
like,
that.
all the
I
time.
only sleep a couple hours a night, and I'm like, come on, I can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, she's like, you can get this design done tomorrow.
Yeah, your speaker amp has a phono stage in it, right?
Yes, sir. So we did a So far we're gonna stick with the moving magnet design.
Nice.
I talked to a lot of guys at the show, the cool high-end phono guys, and they said don't bother with the moving coil. Basically, at the price point, people will generally buy a moving coil preamp, or the moving coil cartridges are so expensive, like for real good ones. They were like, it may outcost, the cost of the amp. They said a moving magnet are incredibly popular. That's probably the right one. So that's the explanation that we've been kind of given. But we learned a lot from those guys at the show.
That's cool.
But yes, it does have a phono stage, and you can actually switch that phono stage off. So if you
and then it's just RCAs in, right?
Oh, that's
correct.
cool.
It's just plain RCAs, and that way
you don't lose that RCA port if you don't want to.
If you're not a record guy, then just use it
Jay's
as a
not.
setting.
He's
I don't
not
know
big.
any.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I do have a moving coil cartridge on right now. So.
Hardcore.
Nothing too great. It's just a Denon 103R. It's kind of like the entry MC. It's nothing.
MC, I like it.
Yeah. But yeah.
Very, very cool.
Coffee round? What's up? You want to have some coffee?
Yeah, let's do this. So, wow, this time went by fast.
Yeah,
so,
we were keeping you late.
Yeah, getting you guys late. So, I figured we'll do a couple quick, fun questions, and we'll kind of go through the chat real quick and do some like chat
Q&A.
questions, Q&A, real quick, and then we'll call it. We'll say, what do you think? Like another 20 minutes to go through all that, and let you guys have your evening
You
back.
guys good with that?
Sure, whatever you guys want.
Sweet. All right. Want to start?
Uh,
Want me to go first?
I can go first, and these
for
are
it.
more, mind you, these aren't like gonna gotcha question or like that. Well, I guess they technically could,
Yeah,
but they're in a
no,
fun way, not in like
Yeah.
so like for instance, pineapple on pizza. Go.
Yay or nay? Both of you.
Chris.
It tastes all right. I never order it though. I've never.
Good answer.
I don't go out of my way to order it, but if it's on pizza and the pizza's free, I'll eat it.
Somewhat diplomatic answer. I
Somewhat.
like it. You
So
know,
it
just-
was, there's a slight in there, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
it's a little slightly like, you're a freak if you like pineapple on your pizza, but I won't
I'd
say
eat it. I like it.
Pineapple black olive. What is it? We do pineapple black olive on the Domino's and not hand tossed, the pan pizza.
Yeah.
Domino's pan pizza. Pineapple black olive every time.
Dude, you know what's
Wow.
amazing is the pineapple, like Hawaiian pizza with jalapenos.
Sounds
that's
good,
fire.
dude.
Mhm.
Sweet and spicy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in.
So a buddy of mine I grew up with when we moved out the house, we would, be hanging out, doing what, 19-year-olds would do. And our pizza that we would get was a pineapple and shrimp pizza, which was good and
Intense.
bad at the same time.
I grew up in Connecticut. We used to eat clam pizzas and things.
Oh, clam pizza! That's a thing in San Francisco.
Yeah, clam pizza.
That's what's up.
Ooh,
Yeah,
like
that's
with like a
thing.
butter sauce or a white sauce
yeah.
instead of a. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Little red
I'm in it.
That sounds so horrible.
I know.
Good. All right.
Jay's turn
Go.
for a fun one.
All right. Led Zeppelin or Wu Tang?
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin. He was so quick with that. So
So-
quick with that. I'm offended. You know what I mean? Come on. Like, that was so fast. I was so fast with the Zepp. What about y'all?
20 years ago, Wu Tang. Is that about 20 years ago? Yeah, I'd say something like that when I was probably in my early 20s. Now Zeppelin.
Okay. I like it.
What about you?
Oh, you didn't even know who Zeppelin was before.
That's what I'm saying. Now Zeppelin. Exactly.
All day.
I gave you my answer. 20
That's
years
an honest
ago.
answer.
That's why I said that. I knew you were going to say something.
Keyboard says King Crimson. Oh, that's funny.
What about you, Sherry? You got one on that?
Me?
Wu-Tang? Yeah.
Wu-Tang
Oh,
is
no,
it?
Zeppelin all day.
Zeppelin all day?
All day.
Okay.
Or do you bump that old dirty bastard? That
ODB?
ODB.
All right. Well, that's one.
Rest in peace.
song.
Rest in peace. One of the
That's
greatest-
right. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. What about you, Tyler? I don't think I have a thought that I know your answer, but I don't know for sure.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a Wu-Tang guy, man. I would be
Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
Me too, Wu-Tang for sure. When 36 Chambers dropped, I went to Sam Goody, and I was bugging the guy 3 days before they were selling. The Wu-Tang album. Are you stoked with all the side projects that Ghostface? And he's just dude, I don't listen to this music, man. I just work here.
Why are you talking to me, bro?
I'm in 7th grade. I'm this chubby nerd, just
That's a joke. Fun story. So I bought a Lauryn Hill album, A Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, on vinyl, and it showed up wrap sealed, brand spanking new. So I unwrap it and get excited. I'm gonna listen to it on my record player, and so I pull it out. First one goes down, fantastic. Pull out the second one, put it on. Not even paying attention. I'm just just going. And all of a sudden, out comes Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, and I'm like, "What the is happening right now?" I was like, "Did I do something? Did somebody slip me something? Is something? What's happening right now?" So that was so they accidentally shipped the second part of the album was the first part of the 36 Chambers album. So I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "They're like, oh, you can return." I'm like, "No, I'm not returning this. Are you insane?"
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Sorry, fun story there. Okay, another fun one, and then you know what? I'll do one more, and then I'll let you guys ask us some fun questions you could think of. How about that? Yeah. Ooh, this is gonna be a tough one. I'm trying to decide. I'm gonna go with. Do I either do a drink one? Ooh, this is gonna be tough. How about this? We'll do eggnog or cider.
Eggnog.
It was a good
Eggnog.
Eggnog. Oh, I knew I liked you, Chris.
I put it in my coffee as the creamer. Yeah.
That's my dad does things like that.
Yeah, I cider. I like cider.
Yeah. So we can't drink. Gino can't have milk or any milk
Yeah.
products, so we're all.
It's very eggnog's very dairy, but it also like Rachel loves it, so it's like she. Blah, 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 I'm like,
She does it purposely.
It's
Our
melted
daughter-
ice cream.
Yeah. Our
yeah.
daughter terrorizes him with things like mayo and cream and ranch,
I
and
hate
he
mayonnaise.
gags and he carries on.
Oh, wow.
It's
Mayonnaise.
hilarious.
Mayonnaise is the devil. Like I'm one of those people. Like if I see mayonnaise on the table, like I'm out. Like I can't even like watch.
Mustard or
anything.
nothing.
Mayonnaise, I can't do it.
You would hate my daughter then, because she's kind of stopped since, but like she used to take like you get those things of like ranch and then like mayonnaise,
Oh,
and she would just drink it. Like she would just straight like, and she wouldn't even use the fries. Like she would just drink. She's like, and we're sitting there going, what are you doing? And she's like, it's so good. And we're like,
oh,
okay.
no, it's so gross.
Yeah, and our daughter puts it on every apples, and she'll look at him, and then she'll just dip it, and he'll start gagging, and we all laugh.
At lunchtime, so we all eat lunch together, and like I always have to put like a bag up or like a book or something like in front of me so I can't see
Yeah,
it.
he has like a wall of.
She's the person that gets like goes to Subway and it's like you know how there's that person that gets like the ridiculous amount of mayonnaise on it, like it's just it's like disgusting. Like it's like 80% mayonnaise and the rest of it's just like lettuce. I'm like,
I'm a big fan of mayonnaise toast. I mean, what?
oh,
You know what's actually quite delicious?
like my eyes water.
So a really, really good piece of sourdough bread.
Mm-hmm.
You toast it. Close your ears. A little bit of mayonnaise on top, and then very thinly sliced red onion. It's really fantastic.
Yes.
And I mean, sourdough in the Bay, you know,
Ooh,
we
you
pride
can't-
ourselves on making great sourdough. So it's like one of those things where you get to really taste the sourdough, and it becomes like the highlight. So, but yeah, I said that once, and like half the room was like, "Oh my god, that sounds amazing! I'm gonna do that." Everyone's like, "We're not friends anymore, and you need to go." I was like, "You're just not allowed here anymore." I'm just like, "Oh, okay." It's a very divisive snack, you know. So.
Yeah, I know someone that uses mayonnaise as like the butter for grilled cheese sandwiches
I've seen that.
That is
as
amazing.
a substitute. She says it's great.
It's amazing. It is. That is actually amazing. I can attest to that. We
I
haven't.
haven't tried it. I don't want to ruin a sandwich by mistake.
No, that's good. We do that here with the Beechers cheese. Beechers is here in Seattle, and so they have their grilled cheese is they have a little layer of mayonnaise in there. Gino's just like,
It's like worse.
What did I sign up to?
yeah, he's like, wait, what? It just became a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm in hell right now. I'm like getting like my arms are hurting now.
He's got goosebumps. He's like,
Yeah.
I love it.
all right. Well, how about you guys? Any random questions for us, and then we'll dive into the or Jay, you have another fun one, or what do you want to do?
I can do another fun one. Or
Let's do another fun one. Let's Jay hit him with another fun one. Then how about this? We'll all answer the fun ones, so that way it's everybody. And then you guys hit us with some questions, and then we'll go to the group chat.
All right, Did you cry at the end of My Girl? The movie My Girl.
Oh,
Have
wow.
fun.
I don't remember. I know I've seen it as a kid. I can't remember if I cried at all. I might have. I'm not going to say no, but I can't remember.
That movie haunted me. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Was the end when she was attacked by the bees?
It's okay to say what happens. It's
It's
you know,
really old movie.
not spoiler territory anymore.
He got attacked by bees, right?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
exactly.
I don't really
Exactly.
remember, but probably I don't know. I don't remember it. I'm with Chris. I don't remember it.
Okay.
I mean, I just
Y'all
remember
just
that.
don't want to admit. It
I probably cried.
saddest
Sure.
damn movie ever.
It is. It really is. I definitely cried. It's my first time ever crying at a movie. I don't know why I thought that'd be a fun question. I apologize to everyone in this.
Well, like,
The first thing they
I feel terrible right now.
First the mayonnaise, and
I had
now
so many
it's
questions to
fries,
make. And I was like, let's just take a complete U-turn over here and see what the hell happens.
he's asking us. He's like, so give me the details of your grandmother's funeral.
Yeah.
How'd that go? Like,
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I mean, so every time what's that song "Heart Goes Must Go On"? Does everyone do this for a little bit, or like at least want
Yeah,
to?
a little time. I've actually redid that pose with my buddy on a boat once. It was yeah, it was fun.
Were you in the front or?
I was on the back. I was on the back.
Friend or on the back.
Just to make sure. I mean, I would have. I'm down with either. Never mind. All right. I mean, it just happened to be that way. It was convenient. So.
How about So, I guess the next thing was you guys. You guys want to ask some questions, and then we'll jump into the. I guess we can jump in the chat, or you guys want to ask some questions of us? Anything you guys want to?
Yeah.
Flip around?
Tyler, you're in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
and Jay, are you in San Francisco? Or are you also in Seattle?
I'm in Oakland. I was in San Francisco for 10 years, but I've been in the Bay my whole life. But yeah, I'm in Oakland now for the last year.
So, are you disappointed? The football team went to Vegas. Ugh. Bums.
Are they a football team? Really? I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves.
and
I mean, I just think that's Vegas's problem now. I'm just saying, like, we don't got to deal with that no more.
Yeah. They do get crazy.
But it could be worse. I could be like a Steelers fan, right? I mean,
that means Tyler probably hates us. Dude, I ain't forgetting that Super Bowl. But
yeah, it's shocking. Actually, shockingly enough, I like sports, but I'm not a big sports watcher. If that makes
Really?
sense. Yeah, like
I
whatever.
used to be, but yeah, not as much.
You don't have time.
Yeah, it's a time thing, I think, as well. Like I'd rather dedicate time to other ventures or things. But yeah, crazy. I know Chris is a huge sports guy. He forsakes all cartoons, all anime. He's not into that stuff at all.
Not at all. It's just all sports with me all day.
All sports all day long.
Definitely not any of that other childish stuff.
Never.
Never.
My question for the group, my only one fun question is Nintendo or Sega?
I got an answer there.
I got an answer. Oh, my man. NES. He went NES.
I have
Zelda. He got Zelda.
Yep.
So we know where you're at.
I'm going Sega all day, and primarily because of Shining Force and the Phantasy Star series are just so good.
Those were good.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Right,
just
Chris,
like
where you at?
50-50.
The Canadian
The diplomat.
No, I've been playing Sonic with my daughter, who's like almost 5, and she's been doing really well. She'll beat levels on her own.
Wow.
Like original Sonic. So there's that. But I also got her a Switch for Christmas, so 50-50.
Fair. Yeah,
OG Zelda is still a game that you can always pick up, and it instantly is fun. Yeah.
On my desk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have. I mean, if I could, I literally within reach, I have nothing but old school video game memorabilia.
Oh, Mega Man. Nice.
So yeah,
Sherry got me for Christmas last year the Nintendo Lego. It's like an NES with the TV.
The TV, yeah. And you can like move the things and actually like does the.
Well, she's like mad. She's like, why aren't you taking it apart and building it? I'm like, dude, I can't touch that thing. It's like gold.
Open the box.
I'm not opening that.
Oh my God,
That's
I
like,
didn't buy you the box. I bought you the contents inside. No,
I have literally boxes of unopened Legos in my garage.
yes. That stuff, she don't know, man. You can't build that. If I build that, it's like, it's over.
You got to do one to rock and one to stock, my friend. You know,
One
you
to
gotta get
rock,
one to stock. That's what you got to do.
It's the same thing. What gaming system did I buy you that you wouldn't open? It was
I
the
don't remember.
throwback. They redid.
Probably, yeah. Oh, it might have been the NES, the mini
I
NES
think
or
so.
something.
They
Yeah.
reintroduced it for like a second, and I got one. It's still in the box.
Yeah,
You
I
wouldn't
can't.
open
Like, those things are special.
You still have the plastic on your couch? No, I'm
My
just
grandma's did.
Yes. Grandma did. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
I know that feeling though. You got your stuff new and you want to keep it crispy. I feel
right.
it.
That's right.
I feel it.
Thanks.
You know, I get it. I do that a lot with records. I actually buy like certain ones that I know are gonna like that mean a lot to me. Like I buy two, and it's.
What was the say? Wait, say it one more time. One to rock and one to stock. You said
One to rock and one to stock. Yeah, it's usually used.
I love that.
Usually used for like sneakers, right? Sneakerheads will do that. They'll buy like
collectors. It's it's definitely a collector thing.
I'm saying that to Jake.
He's probably watching this. He's gonna be like, stole that.
I'm gonna go to work tomorrow, and so I'm like, dude, I came up with this awesome new saying. Like myself, I came up with last night at 9:45. Yeah.
That's legit.
That was my question for that. So
and Tyler came up with the new Geshelli new tube.
New tubes. Yeah, let's go.
Tubes. So, exactly. Y'all are just creating.
All right, Chris, what do you think? What's a good question? On the spot. Let's go. Let me get the light out.
Hard.
I don't know.
It's so tough to come up with it.
I know.
It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, on the spot too is never easy.
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
I'm waiting for him to say like Pepsi or Coke.
Yeah, well, that would,
like Scotch or bourbon. That's the one there.
Yeah. Scotch all day and Coke all day, by the way. Just
Coke
not together, though.
cherry.
Not together.
Coke.
You know, as a kid, I used to collect Coca-Cola memorabilia.
Really, there's like so much of it to be had too.
And I had like a whole ton of it, and then I left, and when I graduated and left the house, I came back years later, and I was like, hey, by the way, where's all my Coke stuff? And they're like, oh, we recycled that for like a long ass time ago and got a bunch of money for it. And I was like,
Tyler was that kid during show and tell where he'd come up and he'd be like, Coke again.
This is meth.
Great. Like,
and this is from 1932.
I have a question. On the West Coast, did you guys call it soda?
I call it pop.
Yeah, soda. Oh, you called it pop? Are you from California, bro? Like, what's going on here?
Exists pop in Pittsburgh. It was always pop because it was like that kind of central Ohio, Western Pennsylvania.
Yep.
You were always soda, right?
I was soda. I lived in California.
When I moved to Florida, like it was everybody was calling it soda, and I kept saying pop, and people would just look at me like, "What the hell are you saying?" Like,
you
what?
still say it.
It's like a Midwest. That's how I lived in Chicago for 3 years, and I came there from California, and then I moved back. But I would call it soda, and everybody would be like, and like pop, and I'd be like, pop. Like the music, like no, I'm not really into pop. But,
I think I started calling it pop because everyone was calling it soda in California as a kid, and so I was like, no, I'm gonna call it pop because I'm original.
With all this Coke cans.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Want to jump on the live stream questions? What do you think?
Yeah. Let's rock through. I'm gonna go start from the top and start moving my way down until I find one. Well, no, already answered that one. You guys heard the Gustard R26? I have not.
I have not.
Ooh. Here's a good one for Jay, and R00s asks, what's a good starting spot for gradients? Hemp? Question mark.
Do you have an opinion on that? Do you know?
I'd say SR60s. They still make the SR80s. I don't know.
I actually have a pair right there.
Okay,
yeah. I have the 125s. 125s.
They had did they have I guess it went 80 to 125, right? Is that how? I can't remember.
It goes 60, 80, 125, 225, 325, and then you start going into like the PS series.
The crazy ones, yeah.
PS and the GS series, so yeah.
But I would say like you cannot go wrong with an SR60 or an SR80 at all. Like it's gonna like destroy. They're so good.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Those are my tester headphones for any time I plug in a new tube amp or an amp that I built.
So, I would say that.
Don't blow up. Okay,
we're good. Grado, you should start out with the HP one. No, I'm just kidding. The HP one is that crazy like one that's.
It's like a couple thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
He's like the PS1000s. You know, they have those that were like crazy.
Yeah.
These are a special edition. I think these are the GH2.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
They're great. You know,
So you
Yeah,
guys
no.
have kindred spirit. Jay is a huge grotto.
Yeah, I have two. I have like 10-ish Grados behind me right now.
Wow. Holy
Yeah.
crap. Okay.
Yeah, I love Grado.
I never got to hear the PS series. I always wanted to. Like, back then, I never had enough money to buy. They were so expensive. But
PS 2000E is fantastic.
is that like their highest ones?
Yeah, now well they discontinued it. I'm assuming they're gonna like the last one was the E version. I'm hoping they do an X. I don't know. That's what I would think they're doing since
Were they metal?
They were metal, but they had like a mahogany core or something like that. I forget what type of wood core. Yeah, very. I spent a lot of time with them in CanJam in 2019. I've never owned them,
Right.
but what I like about Grados is being able to mod them. Like I swap out the headbands, the pads, do removable cable mods, so they're kind of fun to tweak with. But also, I mean, I had a very similar experience I think that you had with the SR80. My first pair of real high-end headphones I had was the HD 650, and I loved it. And I was like, this is a really cool, very like, sounds great. And then I listened to the SR80. It was like super cheap. Like it was like this. I found it on Craigslist for like $75.
Yeah.
And then I threw them on, and I was just like, oh my god, it's like so airy and open. It was a complete opposite of what the HD 650 was. So that's really like where I was like, oh my, and there's like blood dripping down.
Yes.
Like, so now my thing is, if your ears don't bleed, it ain't hi-fi. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it just, they were so exciting and dynamic, and I just never heard anything like that. So I've been kind of I've owned so many Grados. I love Grados. And also the hemp are awesome.
The hemps are good. I like them.
Yeah, really, really fun. I would say they're the more like
and they need
warmer than most
where's
Grados.
that? Where's my little? There it is. And they need
The Yaxi pads. I would say they need the ZMF pads.
Ooh, that's right. He does do those now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
good
ZMF
point.
pads are sweet on them. All right. I can talk about Grado all day. I should stop.
I love Jay. Like you, dude. You're like, I'm flying to your house. And hanging
No,
out.
let's hang. Where y'all in Florida exactly, by the way?
In Melbourne, we're on the East Coast. So the hurricane that just came past, like basically went right over our
Oh,
house.
jeez.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'm glad you guys are okay, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had a nice hurricane year this year. It sucked, but it's like being in a wind tunnel with like a little bit of rain, but it's all vertical. Or excuse me, all horizontal. You know, it sucks. And we're real close to the ocean, so like during these hurricanes, like it smells like you're on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And we're probably 7 miles, 5 miles,
5 miles,
and it just smells like the beach all the way over here. We're like
Love
technically on land side, but still, yeah, they suck. But anyway, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I always have to be coastal. Like the idea of the ocean being nearby is always so.
It's
like,
rejuvenating, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Next couple questions were, looks like one got removed, but I think I remember it was like thoughts on building a streamer, and then another one kind of coincides with that, which is a standalone EQ or metering unit.
Yes, a lot of people have been asking us that. That's probably a project that we can do fairly quickly, and we're really considering that for 2023, like as a project. So, you know, it's one of those projects that we can probably get together fast because we feel like we designed a pretty good tone control / EQ on our amp that we can pull that technology out into a separate unit, maybe add a mid. Right now it's just a boost. It's a bass treble boost cut. We can throw a mid in there and have a little 3-band. It's a Baxendall design. It's nice. And then hell, throw some VU meters on it. Why not? Or just make a thing with VU meters. Why not? But yeah, those are things that like we can, I think, whip up fairly quickly and make them really decent. You know, so yes, that's something that we're highly considering in 2023. We've talked about it.
Good. You should do that because I have a shit Loki Plus with some knobs on it, which I prefer over like regular like EQ software.
Right.
I need to get rid of that and put the Geshelli in there instead.
I'll help you out with that.
Excellent.
But vinyl, like EQ is so helpful. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, you can't use software, so
no, you can't. You could, but meh.
It's not pure.
Well, didn't you try the puffin
Oh,
Tyler?
dude, yeah, man. And so I feel really bad because he makes such a great product. And I was going, dude, there's so much to that thing that I just don't feel qualified to do a video on it. I'd be like that, like it's pretty, it plugs in, it works, but there's like literally a million other things it does, like, and so I don't know. I was like, I felt really, because it's so badass, man. Like, it does all these cool little things where like it will do like pop elimination, and so the way it works is it pulls the analog in, and then in like a split second, like less than a split second, it analyzes for like noise, and it'll remove the noise before it hits your speaker. So it removes like the vinyl pop or like the dirty record pop or like a scratched record to some degree.
Yeah, you just don't need to clean your records anymore.
Ever, yeah. It's
just.
I'll do that. Clean your records. Jay's over here like,
I'm having a panic attack right now. Stop. This is like talking about mayonnaise, man. I understand what you're going through now. Just like I need to shower. I feel so cold.
Oh God, make the bad man go away. No, it's fantastic. And then for like another thing that's really good for is one of my buddies did is he used the puffin for needle drops. So he used it to pull all of his records and turn them into FLAC files. And so he did a needle drop on all of his records, which was like thousands, and it took him forever. But that's what he used, and it's fantastic for that too. Like there's so much in it. It's insane how much he packs into that little thing. But yeah, anyways, that thing's pretty cool. And it's going back tomorrow. Let's see. Another quick question. O'Neill custom wood cases are going to be available, and how much? That seemed to be. Do we?
No idea.
No idea yet.
I don't do that part.
Harry, you're on the spot.
Boom, boom, boom.
Surprise on Black Friday. I mean, we're coming up with a variety of ideas, but we haven't had anything solved yet. 100%.
That's
basically. I'm not saying anything. You'll see it when you drop.
Fair.
Yeah, so the amps, the headphone amps are going live on Black Friday, but the actual integrated speaker amp that hasn't been a launch date yet.
Same exact thing. We don't really have a solid price yet. Our base model, we're shooting to keep it just under or around 2,000 for the base.
Nice.
And then Chris's cases will be an upcharge each thing that.
Yeah, we've been saying at the show. So we haven't. We're like currently we're at this stage where we're trying to figure out manufacturing. So that's going to affect a lot of the cost.
Yep.
And then also we're going to try to set it up so it's tiered how we do our normal stuff. So it'll be you may be able to pick and choose some features and or maybe power or things like that. So we're working on that, and this is again, the big amp, just to clarify it. But we're like dead smack in the middle of figuring all of that out. So we were so focused on just getting that thing ready for the show that I kept telling everybody like in the shop, like, do not ask me about manufacturing or anything, please, for the love of God. Just let me get this thing to the show. So we just kind of decompressed a couple days ago, and we're just starting to have those conversations. So we'll get like stuff out on the site where we kind of start dropping some info, when we get everything solid. So, we have to make sure we can source all the parts is like kind of the big thing. And then we'll know our final pricing.
We have to pass the testing.
Yeah, we have to go see testing.
We have to go through legal to make sure. I mean, all those things have to happen before. We're hoping for first quarter of next year release.
That's what we're really hoping for.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah. It's just there's like those factors again of getting parts and all that stuff. Yep. So those are usually the delay points. Or like, okay, we're waiting a month to get some kind of weird, or the VU meters or something, things like that. So but yeah, just stay tuned. I think that's the biggest thing. That's what we've been telling everybody.
Okay. And then who's your favorite superhero and why is it Deadpool? You are correct. Deadpool is the best superhero. And then sorry. That was Hobby Talk. Do you guys have a favorite superhero?
You're gonna see mine, Spider-Man, right? No.
It's a. One day I bought him a cake and I used Spider-Man colors, and he's never.
No, it had an actual Spider-Man.
And it was
I'm like,
funny.
I've never in my life said I like was a
And
Spider-Man
so now
guy.
every year he gets Spider-Man because he was so like offended.
I wasn't offended.
You
I
were
just
too,
okay.
you
Look,
carried on.
she had no idea. Like I never in my life said like, oh man, me and Spider-Man like this.
Well,
you
they
know?
are now.
Yeah. It was just like, and there was like this whole cake and like Spider-Man bags, and she's like, "Dude, you love Spider-Man." I'm like, I've never said that. I've known you for how long? I've never said the word Spider-Man. I think I've never even seen really the movies or anything. So my hero, I don't even know who my hero.
Just use somebody that's not one of
I
your
like
password,
Deadpool. I like Deadpool because it was they were really funny movies.
There you go.
Probably X-Men from back in the day. I used to read X-Force. I used to read.
Oh
those
yeah,
comics.
X-Force.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Was Deadpool? No, he wasn't.
He was in
X-
He was in X-Force.
Yeah, I
Deadpool's
thought he
in
was.
X-Force.
Yeah. But I don't know.
What, do y'all remember the Executioner song series that came out when they were kind of like all joining to like defeat Apocalypse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, was it? Who's it? Cable? Like
Cable.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What's his name? Cyclops and Jean Grey's
Cyclops.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, nostalgic for those $1.25 comic books right now.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
True. Chris, what do you think? What's your favorite superhero?
I don't know if you've seen The Boys.
Mhm.
Yeah, but Homelander, obviously, he's a good role model, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Also, watch The Boys because it's the best show.
Dude, the comics, the graphic novels are even better, in my opinion. But let's see here. Actually, this is for you, Chris. Multi-kill. I have one for Grumpy Goose. He knows how bad I want a Xenomorph headphone stand. How crazy can we expect the next one to be?
Well, I have one to do first, and then I'll have to get onto that one. There's somebody custom ordering
Nice.
one with a matching case. So yeah, so there's that first, and then I'll get onto that one.
Nice. And what's your thoughts on doing stabilized stuff?
Whatever they send me.
Fair.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do stabilized, then send me that, and I'll try and carve it.
Fair.
Wow. Okay, just like whatever, throw it
Just
at me.
throw it in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come at me, bro. Like,
So
what's up?
surprise me.
And then question for the entire room: tubes or solid state?
Easy.
Ooh, I'd like to hear what the easy answer was.
I do love solid state. I do, but I'm a tubes guy. I
Nice.
love tubes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big. I like both as well, but I definitely lean towards the tube euphonics.
Yeah.
I haven't really tried tubes very much at all, so I can't really speak to that.
I would
But
also say it depends. Sorry.
It depends.
Sorry.
It does depend.
Yeah,
it does depend.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think I know what you guys are gonna say.
Actually, so as
They can't see it.
I have a giant tube amp right here, but as okay, I'm gonna answer it like this. As an engineer, I like solid state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I like dealing with solid state better, because it's like newer and I love tubes. So I am 50-50 on that. Like it all depends, like on what I'm listening to.
I can agree with that. Yeah. I like a warm the warm solid states too. Like as long as a solid state has soul to me, I don't.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. As long as it has soul and isn't then I'm good.
We talked about like measurements earlier. Like most amps that I heard in space that's like reasonably priced that chase like measurements in the solid state, it's super sterile. It loses all like I don't know if even someone listened to this thing before they pushed it out.
They just measured it and put it out into the world.
But then you hear like some solid state amps that are extremely like kind of holographic and also for these planars. By the way, these are some modded Rhythm Devil LCD X's. Very, very cool. Check them out. I prefer solid state for a can like this personally.
Yeah, like planners tend to be solid state for me as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they could sound good with tubes, but for my preference, I really tend to just want solid state. And there's certain Grados like where I'm just like, it doesn't sound good on a tube amp to me, and I want that solid state sound from it.
It's balance. It's all about balance.
Yeah. You gotta have 10 amps and 15 headphones.
And
That's the only way to enjoy this.
15 headphones.
Yeah. What are you, a baby?
All right. Last few questions. I think we're down to the end here. I think that was really is the Made in the USA USB a 2023 thing? Okay, Chris Studebaker asks.
Studebaker, what's up, man? How we know Chris?
USA USB a 2023 thing or a 2022 thing?
Yes. US. What did he say? USB. Is that for us? I'm sorry.
I think so.
Made in USA USB a 2023 thing or 2022?
Oh, I know what he's asking.
What's that?
So you must have been talking.
I might have been. What's that?
The new relationship that we're thinking of bringing into the United States that currently is now overseas with somebody else for USB.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. No. That's pretty public. I've talked about that. Yeah. So we right now, here's what he's referring. I think Chris is what you're referring to anyways, what she said. So our, and correct us if we're wrong. I can't see the chat, Chris, but I'll just answer this. So we currently use Amanero USB modules on our amplifier, on our DACs. They're awesome. So we're working with Amanero on developing a version that we can manufacture. So right now we have to get them from Italy. So he ships them from Italy. It's very expensive. It's a pain. You get customs, everything. And so we just approached him and said, hey, can we license it from you and then make our own version, but like with your blessing and your software and everything. And he was really great about it. So we were working on it. We have a prototype done, but we stopped in order to finish the amp for the show. So I was actually looking at the prototype. It's sitting on my desk at work, and I was looking at it today. Like, I got to get back on this because we're constantly having to continuously source these USBs from them in Italy, and it's just like a pain in the ass.
Well,
so
he's not able to get, and we're getting to the point where he can't supply as much as we need because he makes them there.
So we're gonna be like, we're hoping it's like next week, but it's really not gonna be next week. I wish it was like today they were ready, but we're getting back on that. So I don't have a date, but I hope it's soon, just because we need to get those spun up so we can make them ourselves. So I think that's what he's talking about. And if I got that wrong, I'm sorry, buddy.
So your original DACs didn't have USB, and I think I recall reading something about this where you actually worked on some of the early USB audio stuff, or you were working.
Yeah, so way back, this is like 2000 time frame. It's like when I first started my career at that company I was telling you guys. We were doing like USB audio back, like way back then. There was like one or two chips that existed that did, like Philips, and I think there was another one, but we were doing same kind of thing, like USB modules, just like Amanero made. Like, we were making them then, and we were doing a lot of stuff like working with Microsoft, kind of in the back end. I don't know if you guys remember Windows CE. I don't know if anybody even remembers that. That's old school, but it was awful. But we were working on stuff with them for that back then, and it was like really difficult because computer, like we were doing embedded devices then that were like 100 megahertz. The cores were like 100 megahertz, and they were terrible. So you're trying to like feed USB at these incredibly like poor speeds, but back then we were working all that junk. Wow. And yeah, so our first DAC we released was not USB because I had like no faith. Like it was such a bad amount of years of experience with like how bad I hated it that when I did this, I was like, I'm never touching USB again. So we eventually contacted Amanero because I knew he had a fantastic solution, and that's why we ended up hooking up with him. His solution is like perfect. So I love it.
Nice.
That's cool.
Right, last two questions, and it's one for each of you. First one to Chris is regarding Lightwood speaker enclosures. Any interest in monitor enclosures or Grumpy Goose monitor stands?
Ooh.
I want one.
I know.
I know.
What's just happened here?
No, I thought about other stuff like that, like other stands to put your like amps or whatever on, as well as just like matching the stands, like matching the headphone stands, so you can have like a nice set of things.
You know, it'd be sick, and maybe, I don't know how easy or hard this would be. Is like some kind of record display stand.
Ooh.
I know someone that would buy one. I don't know who, but I think there's somebody that would probably buy one of those.
I
I'm not
use
sure.
this terrible thing from IKEA.
Oh,
I would
jeez.
love something. Hook me up.
You better send that to Chris. He'll hook you up, dude.
This is actually just supposed to use like prop up a book or something, but I use it to prop up my records when I'm playing them. I'm sorry, Chris. This is like talking about mayonnaise. This is like the same thing.
Yeah, just
Chris.
yeah.
So upset.
He's like he's lost for words. He's like, oh my god, why did you show me that?
Now I have to.
Yeah.
Now I have to.
It's a mercy. It's a mercy carving.
You can't live this way anymore.
Well, this is great. I'm going to show you a lot of other pathetic things I use that are made out of wood. So
We found the weakness. We found his kryptonite. And then the other final thing was if Gino and Sherry could show off their dog for the final sayonara.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll try. Let's see. It's 30. Don't mind all the like paper stack. Let me see.
You're
Here,
good.
Let me see. Come here.
Oh,
Face, come here.
she's heavy.
She is. Ready?
She's like, I'm not a lap dog. Oh, I am a lap dog. Let me then.
That's the best we got right there.
She's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
She's pacing because she wants to go for a WALK.
And we have.
Yeah.
We're in a. Look what you did with
What
the
did I do?
camera.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, she wants to do the WALK.
And we
So
have to walk her late at night
Oh,
because
you
she's.
said
Oh, she heard it. I saw it.
She's in trouble.
I didn't say it. She's awful. I mean, just the most terrible. So we have to do it late at night when there's no humans, cars, or dogs around. So
Yeah.
she looks cute and fluffy, but she's actually.
she's vicious. She's that's why I said the first thing. She's a bad dog. No, we love her to death.
Yeah.
To death. Like when we have to travel to the shows, it's like we're just like we put her in like the doggy daycare thing down the street, and like you can watch the camera. So like the whole time during the show, I'm like, did you check on Daisy? She's like, I can't look at her. I'm gonna cry. So yeah, we miss her dearly. So when we come back, we just like sit with her for like hours.
Yeah.
So but
I'm definitely very attached to my dog. We have a 15-year-old Bashan. His name is Blossom.
Oh.
It's dude, no joke. It's so cute watching your Instagram. Like he does these, and then they just sit together listening to music. It's the cutest. Like
She's pretty pretentious with her music, and like always criticizes me about what I listen to. And it's just like I'm like, I get it. You've listened to all the albums of Art Ensemble of Chicago, and I don't understand most of that music. And you turned me on to Death Grips. I get it. Like, you're cooler than me. Can you just please stop making me feel bad? Like, and I go to this record store, and every time I walk in, they're like, "Oh, Blossom." I'm like, "Hi." Yeah. I actually buy the records, but cool. Like, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, she's great. Great
Got me
fan
crying,
too.
man.
He didn't like dogs ever, and
I was
now,
always a cat person.
yeah, he wanted nothing to do with dogs, and now that's all he does is take her to Dairy Queen and
Yeah, get a little pup cup.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
I love that.
A totally different guy now.
ruined. It's a
Yes.
good way. It's good ruined.
Dogs are the best. I love dogs. And
Agreed.
cats. I'm
And cats.
allergic though.
Oh,
Yeah, I love cats though.
animals are great. They're one of the great qualifiers of a good person is if an animal likes you. You know that.
I learned, like, when we got the dog, I actually learned that like it is true. It like lowers your she lowers your blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just hanging out with her like immediately takes you from like here to here. Like it's like such a healthy. Like it's weird. It's people always told me that. I never believed them. I was like, oh my god, you know, it really works.
And when we fight, we know who's wrong because she goes to the person that she feels bad for.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's actually, God, I'm wrong all the time.
Right?
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, thanks everybody for joining.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, this was amazing, and we went a little bit long, but that's okay. That's
long.
how you know it was a good show. We're good chat and good conversation.
Blast. Yeah, I had so much fun with y'all. It was great to meet y'all.
Yeah,
hell
thank you
yeah,
for
man.
having us.
Dude.
This was fun.
It was super cool. You guys are hilarious.
Let's party.
I want to come visit.
Let's go. I got some neighbors that
Real.
need to, you know, that have been really happy with me. I would like to flip that with hooking up your amp, seeing how my dual like, you know, rel subs can perform on my T50. Let's see what's up. Let's see what we can do.
What's up.
We just need to get Chris some speakers so we can get those going next. I think is the next rabbit hole.
Yeah, I need speakers.
All right, we're gonna try.
Figurines will fall.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna use the headphone out on the big amp. So and that's just not right.
That's just not right.
Fair. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody, and we'll have to do this again. Maybe we can do another one down the road. Jay, what do you think?
Anytime. Let's party. Let's go.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Keep in touch.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Likewise. Keep building
Most
awesome
definitely.
stuff, and thank you. Appreciate y'all for being.
Thanks everybody for watching too.
Yeah, thank you everybody.
Everyone watching.
Always a blast.
Good. All right,
All right.
signing off.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.